Welcome to the Real Money Coach. It is January 28th. Can you believe that we are already 1 month into 2021? I know a lot of you are so glad that we're into 2021, and I am too, because it's going to be an exciting year. It's going to be an exciting decade. And I just believe this. I believe that God has the best for us yet to come. And so we're excited about being with you. Please, as you know what we do on the Real Money Coach, put in the chat box where you are listening from. Tell us hello. We want to see who's out there. I'm waiting to see who's going to be the first to say, I'm here and I am in whatever city you have to be coming from. We know that Charlotte's going to come in strong, right? We know that. But we got people from all over Georgia, Michigan, California, even South Africa. We have people come in. So please just let us know where you're listening from. I see you guys are there, and tell us, how's your day going? For me, I had an excellent day. Absolutely wonderful day. A wonderful day. There we go. There we go. Tommy Day says, I'm in Boston. And he said, I'm not just in Boston, I'm freezing in Boston. All right. Mr. Ragland, he's here. Listen, we are so excited you guys have joined us. You are faithful. Lee Sampson from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Minister Sampson, good to have you. Chad, you're here every week. Bro, thank you for being here. Dr. Bonita Harris, thank you for being here. And there's the queen, the doll. Miss Ruth Bell is with us tonight. Gregory Calhoun from Atlanta is with us tonight. Mr. Ragland from Atlanta. Timmy Day from Durham. Listen, we got our guest is from Durham tonight, Timmy Day. So we got one of your homegirls on tonight. So this is awesome. Thank you all for being here. Listen, we're so excited. I have some great announcements to make for you guys, but I want to remind you of a couple things. One of the things I want to remind you of is this. Remember, please remember that if you want to get first on the information, make sure you join our private Facebook group, the Real Money Coach community, because we're going to be offering some special things in there. And so you want to be a part of that community so you know exactly what's going on. Make sure also that you're subscribing. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, the YouTube/Real Money Coach. Go to YouTube/Real Money Coach, subscribe, and then hit the bell so that you'll know and get notified whenever we are live and on the air. So please make sure you do that. We have some exciting things coming. And I don't know, Chris, if we could even pull up on the website, but next week, Tuesday, we will have Dr. George Frazier on Tuesday night. We're going to be talking to business owners. We're going to be talking about financial wellness for business owners. And that's going to be next Tuesday, February 2nd at 8 p.m. Now, that is really a kickoff event for a 6-week series that we're going to have called Financial Wellness for Business Owners. We're going to talk about financial psychology. We're going to talk about budgeting. We're going to talk about credit, both from a personal standpoint and a business standpoint. We're going to talk about loans and debts, leverage, capitalizing your business. And remember, loan doesn't always have to be the first option. And then we're going to shift and we're going to talk about risk management and insurance. We're going to talk about retirement. It is going to be a great 6-week program. If you go to therealmoneycoach.com/events, you will see it all listed there. But you want to make sure next Tuesday night that you're ready to join us for Dr. George C. Frazier. And so I see Chris is about to break that up now. He's going to put it on here live for you guys to take a look at. And so here's the program, Financial Wellness for Business Owners. Just go there, register the free event with Dr. George Frazier. If you can get Dr. George Frazier for free, man, you want to get it. I don't know if you guys know, but if you don't know who Dr. George Frazier is, Google his name, and you can see that he has really been in this space of wealth, particularly for the African American community. Make sure you go there, and I'm sure that you're going to really enjoy the talk from Dr. Frazier as we interview him, and we're going to just move into this area of financial wellness for business owners. And then the actual series will begin on February 16th. February 16th at Tuesday evenings, 8 p.m. each evening. Want to make sure that you guys, if it's something you want to register for and attend, please do that. We may even have a special offer for you before we get off the air tonight. And it's interesting that, you know, that series and all that's coming up, because the person we have with us this evening that's going to be our guest, she has a business called Your Local CFO. So really, she works with businesses and helps them in their finances and making sure that everything is tip top. And I just really enjoyed talking with her in the green room about her and her husband. She shared with me they've been married. I'm not gonna put all their business out there like that, but they've been in business for 9 years. They have a podcast that they do on Thursday night. So we're really blessed that she jumped right from their own podcast into our Facebook Live, our YouTube Live here tonight. So we're really excited about Cherelle James being with us. And so let me ask you a question. I want to ask a question here of all of you. How are you doing on your 2021 goals, right? So here's the thing. So often we come into a new year, and whether you call it New Year's resolutions or you have these goals that you want to make, but I want to know, how are you doing? How are you doing? Because it's so easy as life happens and it unpacks. And here we are, we're in our 4th show already this year, that oftentimes, you know, the sizzle starts to fade away. But I want to just renew you. I want you to renew your commitment to whatever your goals are. Hey, we're only 28 days into the new year. And it's time for us just to make sure that we keep our eye on the prize and understand that the race is not won by the fast, right? By the swift, but him who endures to the end, him who has the strength to carry it out. So I want to encourage you to carry out your goals, whatever you set for yourself for 2021. Now, listen, our guest tonight, I want to just read a little bit off of her bio for you guys. When I got this bio and I started reading it, I was so impressed at the things that I was seeing there. But Cherelle James is a CEO, a profit strategist, a podcast host, a speaker, a motivator. This is one of the things that stood out to me, specializing in empowering individuals to fulfill their dreams and purpose for their life. And one of the things that I was really impressed by is that she said she is the co-founder and managing partner of My Local CFO, a business financial firm that provides virtual CFO services. And that's one of the things that we find so often, is that a lot of times we have business owners and they're just trying to do it all. And what her business is and what she goes out and does is she helps those business owners that can't afford a full-time accountant, who can't afford a CFO, and she provides those services to them. And I think that is awesome. And when I was talking to her, we got to talking about profit, right? And so now that's why we titled tonight A Profit Mindset. Now, listen, I want to recognize Dr. Bonita Harris. Thank you for your transparency. She says, I'm still on plan. Listen, she says, I'm still on course, working the plan for 2021. Hey, let's give a big shout out for Dr. Bonita Harris. That is awesome. I'm glad. We are yelling, jumping up and down, shouting for you. Chad said, I own myself this year. There's no stopping. Love it, Chad. No stopping. This man up in Ohio says, I am not stopping. I own this year. Hey, in my group, in my team, we're currently doing, some of you may have remembered the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. We're actually doing a book study on that. And I even know last week our guest Isaac Norris mentioned, I believe he mentioned that book, or somehow it came up recently. But it's just a matter of having the end in mind. And so I'm not just reading the book, and we're not just going through the book. We're actually studying the book. And then what we want to do is implement what we're learning from that book into our personal lives, into our business lives. So thank you, Dr. Harris. Thank you, Chad, for sharing. Now, listen, we have a really short clip that's going to do the proper introduction of our guest. I just skimmed it a little bit. So Chris is going to roll that. And after we watch the introductory video, then we will have Mrs. Cherelle James on with us, the local CFO, your local CFO, my local CFO. Let me get it right. My local CFO. Let's roll it.
Hey,
how you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on tonight. How are you?
Thank you for being here. And I know you came to us on a short notice, but you've been so gracious to come and join us. And so we're really excited about that. We're glad to have you. I'm intrigued to know more about you. And so, the first thing I want to do is just kind of, I kind of want to slide off the screen a little bit and just let you have a few minutes to introduce yourself. And so if, just tell us what you want people to know about you. So go away.
Okay. Wow. All right. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, everyone. My name is Cherelle James, and I am the CEO, managing partner, and founder of My Local CFO. Really, I want to share my heart with you, and I'm going to take a page from Tony and just the Real Money Coach show of how they're just transparent in their talks with you guys. At the age of 18, I lost my mother, and it was my freshman year of college. I lost my mother, and it's one thing that I realized at that moment, that we don't have a lot of time. Time is very, very precious. Fast forward, I decided that I was going to live each day till its moment and make the best of each moment I had. Live each day to its moment and make the best of every moment that I had. I said that on purpose. One of the things that I realized is that it takes resources, it takes money. Those are not bad things for you. And the more you have, resources, money, the more things that you can do, the more life that you can live, not just for yourself, but then you can impact others. And that's exactly what my mission has been from that day to this one. And that's why me and my husband started My Local CFO, because business owners have a purpose. They're solving a solution in this world, and we want to make sure that they're here to do it. But more importantly, we want to make sure as a business owner that they are still living life as they're living and giving purpose for other people and solving solutions. So that's pretty much who I am in a nutshell at the core, why I do what I do, and why I talk about profit a lot. I talk about it a whole lot, but for me, it's a way of living, not just money in the bank. It's actually a way you think and a way you live. That's me, Cherelle James, with My Local CFO.
All right. I love it. I love having, I love when people have just a really, pointed, defined mission statement. You know what it is. You know the purpose. You know why you're doing what you're doing, and that's so important. So important. So My Local CFO. And so tell us what type of businesses do you work with, and what does that look like?
Absolutely. So we work with all types of businesses, and we have for the 9 years that we've been in business. I can't believe that September will be 10 years. Wow. It seems like yesterday, but it seems longer than yesterday at the same time. And I'm sure you understand that, Tony, being in business. So we work with a lot of different professional services are a good piece for us. Healthcare services. We work with mental health businesses or therapy practices. Construction. We do work in construction because what we do is not just accounting. And I want to be clear about that. It's the strategic planning. It's being a partner with the CEO of the business or the board. If you're a nonprofit, we work with nonprofits, to be able to make sure that your operational picture and your financial picture are matching up. So often we're making decisions day to day that deal with the operations, and they have financial effects, but we have no idea where we are financial. And so I usually tell clients, I ask them all the time in prospects, I'm not worried about your product or service. I know it's good. Are you profitable? Because if you're not profitable, that's different than making a profit. If you're not profitable, then hey, we've got to get you there because we need you here for a long time. So we pretty much, any business, if you're in business, the basis of what we do works across the board.
And that's so interesting because we use a little phrase around here. We say, if it don't make money, it don't make sense, right? And so often I think we run our businesses as they're like their hobbies. Mm-hmm. And I know one of the things that we really talk a lot about and in our courses when we're doing is the separation of your personal finances and your business finances. And that's one of the areas that I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle in, especially when it's not a structured situation, like it's a one person or two person LLC, maybe you and your spouse or you another part, and you kind of muddy the waters. There's not clear defined lines. And one of the I know if you talk a little bit about, because we found that there's a lot of businesses that weren't able to take advantage of things like PPP when it came around because of the lack of having their books together. Any thoughts from you on that?
Yeah. So let me go back to your first point, and then I'll move to that one.
All
so,
right.
My motto is, and our motto here is, especially with small business, when we talk about entrepreneurs and small business, is that you and the business are one except for your bank accounts. Except
love it.
When it comes to financials, those are something totally different. You're two different people then. But if I'm having a bad day in my business, I'm usually having a bad day at home, or vice versa, right? Because I'm a small business. And so one thing impacts the other thing. Good day means good day, that type of thing. But until you get to finances, you need to understand both sides. You need to understand your personal, and you need to understand your business finances in that way. Because a lot of times, you're right, we treat the business like a hobby, and we think that all the business money is my personal money. And I then say, if you had a baby, you wouldn't have a baby and then go tell the baby to go out and feed you. You wouldn't do it. There's levels and steps to this thing, right? And so you've got to treat the business in the same way and have respect for it. If you had an employee that was going in your bank account and taking out money and spending it on personal things, they might be fired. You might call that stealing.
Right.
Well, guess what? You're stealing from yourself. In that way.
Right.
So just putting it into perspective so that people can really understand, if you want something to sustain, to create legacy, to create wealth, to be able to be there for other things that you want to do, because there's a lot of reasons why people start businesses, right? Is to give them other options. Then you need to make sure that you're treating it in that way so it can grow and get healthy and strong, just like the child you had. You feed them first, and then they slowly start feeding themselves. And we can talk about what that means. And, to a point of they may grow up and now they're having babies, but it's a process, and you've got to take your business through that process. Now that's first. Go ahead.
No, on that thing, because I think it's so important what you're saying there, because I think what happens is if you have your business and you have your stuff in your personal, if you're intermingling those together, what happens is that you don't really know what's coming in and what's going out. Is that true? Do you find that a lot? Kind of tell us a little bit about what you find there.
Even more than that. Yes, no, truthfully, you don't know what's coming and going out, but you're doing a disservice to your business, because now you're putting expenses inside the business that aren't business expenses. So how do you know what it actually costs to do business? So you put yourself as a business owner at a disadvantage as well. Now, from the personal side, you may be living above your means because you're just pulling this money out. Or some people that I know, they pay themselves and then put it back in the business. Well, then you're not ready for that yet, and so you skip some steps and you move forward. So yes, definitely knowing what's coming in on both sides, the personal side and the business side, and what's going out, but separately. They have to have their own sheets of what's coming in and what's going out. That allows us then to understand what's left over. And somebody may be out there saying, that's a joke. Ain't nothing left over. But I could say to them, great, that's not a bad place to be, because you're now clear. Now you're empowering yourself to not be afraid of your numbers, but empowering yourselves to understand, okay, where am I now? What do I need to do to get whatever I need so I can at least break even, whether it's personal on the personal side or whether it's on the business side. And a lot of people are so scared to look in their numbers that they don't know, they don't know what's happening or why they have more month than money. They have no idea.
Right. I call it the Fred Sanford method, right? Because when I was growing up, I remember Fred Sanford, he'd get a bill and he'd just throw it in the drawer. They never open it. We can't really put our head in the sand and pretend like these things don't happen. And the second part of the question was about the PPP.
Yeah.
And so kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So I'm still digesting the package that came out. But what I would say is a lot of times the PPP money is a great place. And it doesn't mean that you have to be. I know when the first round came out, first phase, we call it now, I guess, came out. A lot of people thought because they were self-employed or home-based businesses, because they talked a lot about payroll. And a lot of small businesses aren't on payroll yet, right? They're small companies. In North Carolina, we have what's called LLCs. I know all states don't have LLCs, but it's a way that you can take draws out. And so maybe they're just doing member draws rather than having a payroll. So because everybody's using that big payroll word, they felt like, oh, I don't qualify for that. You may still qualify for that. And that's a great something that can help you along the way. This is where you need to talk to a financial professional that can kind of look at where you are and what you're doing. One of my big things, and I talk to bankers all the time. I was just on a call Monday with bankers, and I fussed and said the same thing on that call is we can't just give out money and then expect people to know how to maximize their dollars. You've got to put something in place, or they have to have someone that they can go to that can teach them how to maximize their dollars, because especially in the time of COVID, and the reason for PPP, was for salaries. The original phase one was for salaries, mortgage, and utilities. That's pretty much it if you wanted it to be forgiven. And
right. That's the key. Yeah.
But it was so many, how many other things do I need to take care of? And it's happening personal and business wise, especially when we talk about a small business owner. Now they've expanded that in phase two. And like I said, I'm not going to talk too tough about it because I've not combed through it all. So I want to be intelligent when I talk about it. You can bring me back on and we can just have a talk about PPP. I want to be intelligent about it. But awesome. I will say this. You want to be smart of how you use it, because in phase one, they also had the EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which is still out there. Most people don't know this. It's still going. You can still apply. If you didn't apply last year, can you still apply this year? And it's to the end of December 31st. Now, what that means is I don't want to use my PPP for the same things that I'm using the EIDL for in the same time, because then that knocks out the forgiveness, if that makes sense. So having a strategy, not just getting money and then saying I'm gonna spend it here, but having that strategy, it comes into play so you can maximize the dollars you have, and that you can put yourself in a better position for today and then hopefully for tomorrow.
That is awesome. That's awesome. That's great news. And we're going to be having some shows where we're going to be unpacking this whole stimulus 2 package and that type of thing. Now here's one of the things that really impressed me when you and I talked. You talked about a profit mindset. And when we do our financial literacy classes, financial education, whether we're business owners or whether we're talking to individuals, we start with a mindset. Now I do want to pause right here and give a shout out to Ruth Bell. I see her in the chat here. Ruth Bell said her score has gone from a 580 to a 720 by being involved with the Real Money Coach. All right, Miss Ruth Bell. Thank you for giving us that testimony. Love it. Love it. So now profit mindset. Tell me what is a profit mindset?
Yeah, it's something that I told in the beginning, but I'll go deeper into it. You're Christian, I'm a Christian, and God said that Jesus said, I come that you may have life and have it more abundantly.
Yes.
We all know that we have purpose. We all know that we're supposed to be living life. But Tony, there's a lot of people out here just existing and surviving. And they feel like there's more and they can feel it, but they have no idea how to get to the more, how to get to that life and life more abundantly, where I can actually live and then begin to impact others' lives, right? As you change, your household changes. And as your household changes, your community changes. And as your community changes, your world changes. And so with that being said, it's a mindset first, meaning that I have to say, I'm going to take hold of my life. I'm going to give you a quick story here, if you don't mind.
Please.
I found myself probably about the 3-4 years into business, having an opportunity. I got a call that said that there's this program that's coming into town. It's a 3-month coaching program to help you build business and help you in some foundation areas. And we have a free ticket for you. Given a free ticket. I didn't have to pay anything for this ticket. I get there, dressed fabulous, looking fabulous on the outside, right? Go up to the desk, say hi. They say hi, fill out this paperwork. I said, okay, look at it. My heart sank on the inside. Still smiling on the outside, but my heart sank on the inside because it was asking me questions that I had no idea about my business. Now, I'm the CEO, so I'm supposed to know these questions. What was my revenue last year? What was my revenue this current month? What am I anticipating for this year? Now, I could have told you everything about my clients' finances. I could, if that was for my client, I could have filled it out and then have to look at their paperwork. But I couldn't tell you about my business. Now, why do I talk about this? Because it didn't just start there. When I go back in my history, I've been a giver all my life. And most business owners are givers, which means that we put everyone first before ourselves. So where does that leave us, Tony?
With the left
back burner.
Right.
It leaves us on the back burner, right? With our hopes, our dreams, our whatever, sitting on the back burner because every time something comes, we're putting everyone else before us. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a giver. And I had a hard time, and I had a word with the Lord. And he let me vent and be as ugly as I wanted to be. And then he said, okay, you done? And he said, it's not bad being a giver, but it is bad being out of balance in your giving.
Yes.
Because if we came that we all have life and have life more abundantly, then it's not just about me helping others, but me making sure that things in my life happen the way that they need to happen. My dreams coming true, me getting to realities that I need in my life. And there's so many people that sit right there, business owners, day to day, and just people in general that sit right there in that space. So I had to make a decision. I went in the bathroom. I'm ducking, looking under the stalls, making sure nobody there, way in the corner of the bathroom, just in case somebody comes. Because I had to call my husband, who's my business partner, to ask him all them questions. It was humiliating. It was humiliating. It was a low point, but it's where I decided I need to take control of my business, which also meant taking control of my life.
Well, it's so interesting because they say how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And I understand what you're saying completely because of being in financial services, insurance, retirement. And sometimes we have a tendency to take better care of others than we do ourselves. And part of it is that passion to do things, and you're extending yourself a lot. Yeah. And then you fail to kind of take care of home. And and just like it says, how can a man rule the house of God and not even rule his own house well, right? And so it's the same thing. And I think that's typical for business owners. I mean, I think if you see a contractor and you go to their house, they got all kinds of stuff broke, right? Because they spend all their time helping other people and neglecting themselves. And it's not a situation where it's intentional, it's just who they are. And you want to take care of your customers. You want to make sure that they have what they need. And then sometimes, like you said, you put yourself on the back burner. Yeah. And I know every once in a while, my wife had to bring me to reality. Hey, dude, I see you doing this for your customers. Hello, you need to be doing it for us. And so I totally understand that. And I think that's what's so important about coaching, having a coach sometimes, or going to that program like you did, it brings that reality to us. And so tell me, based on that, how do you stay on track? How do you keep,
Right.
how do you identify, let's say, clear goals and clear dreams, and how do you now make them tangible at the same time you're running your business and you're also helping other folks run their business? How does it come back to Cherelle? And how do you do that?
So the first thing is realizing that things are out of whack or out of balance. Right. And usually people know that because you're running on this wheel and you think, if I work harder, if I do more, then I can get further, but you're getting the same place or less, and you're exhausted. And this is whether you're in business or just a person in general. And you just feel like you're on this wheel, but you're going nowhere, like a hamster on a wheel. So the first thing is to stop and be honest with yourself. Let's get honest and truthful. The second thing is to really decide, and a lot of us have not dreamt in a long time. I know there's people in here who's like, you talking about dreaming, girl, dreaming. I probably was 10, maybe, but getting back to dreaming. And in getting back to dreaming and understanding, where do you want to be? Like identifying, what is it that I don't like here in my life, in my business? What's happening that I don't like? Okay, what do I want to happen? Because so often we take time and we stay on the negative things that we don't take the time to realize, well, where do I want to be, and what's the positive things here? So what's working good in my life or business, number one. Then number two, what needs to change? And how does it need to change? And then figuring out, I tell everybody, if you look around, even looking at you and me, everything has a cost to it. Everything.
Absolutely.
Right? And people say, I don't have a cost to me. Even your love has a cost. And people say, no, my love is free. Can you give it to people freely in the amount of time that you want to give it to them? Or you can only fit them in certain spots because you got to go and find some money or be able to do other things. It's not free. It's not free. And so you've got to be able to understand what's working, what's not working, what do I need, and then what is that cost or those resources. So you got to get granular with making it tangible, because we don't reach our goals because they're pie in the sky. It's, I want to be wealthy one day. Oh, I want to be successful one. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah, what is the quantitative? And we talk about SMART goals, right? SMART goals, we always talk about they got to be specific, they got to be measurable, they got to be attainable, and so you got these SMART goals, and sometimes when our goals are too vague, I mean, they're not smart. We don't have anything. We don't have those measurements. It's not specific enough. We don't have the measurement. And then sometimes we have this pie in the sky type of goals where that's not obtainable, And so we have to be realistic about it and making sure that our goals are SMART goals and that we can obtain them. And I love what you're sharing about that. And because so often we don't talk about SMART goals when it's related to our money. Yeah. We think about SMART goals in every other way. But you also have to have some goals. I mean, and I think about it, I just shared with Ruel too long ago. She talked about her credit score went from a 580 to a 720. Yes. Right? That is a specific, measurable goal, right? So those are the types of goals and stuff that we have. And you mentioned knowing your resources. Knowing your resources. I'd like for you to expound on that a little bit. Yeah,
because we think that cash or money is the only resource that we have. And we make it like the only resource. How many times has someone said, oh, I need to make more money. I need to make more money. I need to make more money. And the truth is, you may not need to make more money. You may just need to understand where you are, what you have, and what you need. Now, it could be that you need to make more money, but if you're continually, your lifestyle ups every time you make money, then it's like you didn't make the money at all. So when we talk about just kind of identifying other resources, if you understand that everything has a cost to it, but you're very clear on what you need, whether in business or personal, if you're very clear on that, then you can then tap into your network. You can tap into your network, you can tap into your family, different places, your community. And where you may not have the dollars, you may have the resource. You may have the resource to be able to still get it done, which equals the dollars that you needed. But if we're only always saying, I need more money, well, what do we need the money for? What is the money for? Even the money in your savings account, even the money that you're using, if you have insurance and things like that, they should have a name attached. It should be for a reason. You should know why that money's there. Don't save in the blind and don't live in the blind.
That's good. That's real good. Because I often, tell people, and when you see different things, like say, for example, in the insurance arena, you see things people say, well, final expense, that's a big insurance product. Mortgage protection, big product. And so we have these different things, and really what they really are, it's really a life insurance plan, but the final expense means I've assigned it a purpose. The purpose is to take care of my final expenses. A mortgage protection plan is a mortgage life insurance that I have assigned. My purpose of it is that if I die, my mortgage will be paid off.
Right.
And so we have to assign. If we don't, we often say this, if you don't tell your money where to go, it'll go where it wants to go. And it's so important. $1 Million Baby. It's another program that we have, but it's assigned to create wealth for my baby or my grandbaby. So those are the types of things that, and I think you just made a really, really good point when you said that, is having purpose and assignment for everything. So if I wake up in the morning and I get on my computer and go to whatever, there's got to be a purpose. There's got to be a reason for doing it. There's got to be a strategy. I think I love one of the things you mentioned is strategists, right? So you got to have a strategy for life and for your finances and all those things. And you talk about leveraging. You're talking about leveraging your money. How do you work with your business owners, or what recommendation would you have for leveraging money? Explain that a little bit.
The theme for today seems to be don't invent the wheel, bedazzle it. And that's a motto I have in my life. But it seems like everything I've talked about today, we've kind of got back to that point, which is really talking about leveraging. For instance, just because you're trying to grow, say a business is trying to grow, well, you don't have to start a new location. You can merge or acquire another business that's already have customers, that's already booming, that has a good reputation in a community or another state or whatever you may be thinking of moving to. That's leveraging, right? It's meaning that you've taken your time to grow and know where your money's going so that you could be strong. And now you can leverage that strength, that financial strength that you have, with something else that you want. Investing. We talk about investing all the time, no matter what you're talking about investing in. That's leveraging your dollars, right? Because they're working beyond. You talked about insurance. It's working beyond just the face value of what I'm paying. It's working beyond that. So I'm leveraging my dollars. The other way I put this is we are chasing after money. When you start leveraging your dollars, that means that now money is chasing after you. So if money's chasing after you, I don't know about you, Tony, but I'm gonna stop. That means I don't have to work as hard. I can enjoy life. I can do some other things because money is out. So that could be in partnerships and collaborations that you do, joint ventures that you have. That could be as a person having skills and ability or having resources. That's why we talk about what are your resources, so that you're very clear on what you have at your disposal in your toolbox, so that then they could be multi-purposed. Don't always have to reinvent. You can multi-purpose things.
You know, it's so interesting, and while I mention this, of our mentor, we'll bring Marlon on. Is one of our mentors, Dr. George Fraser. He always says this. He says that if you chase excellence, money will chase you. You won't be able to get out of the way of money, and so that's that. I love what you're saying about chasing money, chasing dollars, and you know that's not what we want to do. I do want to go back and pick up what Dee said here. Dee said, why do some people feel like it's not important to have mortgage protection plan? And, you know, I would even expound that to say, you know, there's some people that feel like having life insurance, whether it's to protect their mortgage, whether it's to you know, to pay for, you know, final expenses. A lot of people don't feel like it's important. A lot of people feel like it, you know, I've even had people tell me if I get life insurance, it's going to jinx me. But I'll tell you this, and I'll get your opinion. I'm very strongly opinion. This is my area, right? Is like people buy life insurance because they love someone. Mm-hmm. That's why you buy life insurance. Because if you love someone and they're depending on you, then that's why you buy it. If I have a mortgage and I have a family that's living in that home, they're depending on me carrying my weight. And so I buy it because I love someone ultimately. Mm-hmm. I don't want my family to have a GoFundMe to bury me. It's income replacement. Now, we use life insurance as a whole lot of other reasons. In addition to that, you know, in terms, it's a great way to accumulate wealth. It has great tax advantages and some of those types of things. So tell me, what's your opinion about the life insurance in that question?
So I'll tell you a couple things. Okay, don't judge me here. I'll tell you a couple things. I'll say that number one, it's having a profit mindset. That's part of a profit mindset because it's part of your strategy, right? Just flat cash by itself is not going to do it. You got to have multiple strategies working for you, multiple things. My husband said to me when we got married and got our life insurance policies very early on in our marriage, and he was executive. So my husband, when we got married, he worked for a pharmaceutical company and he rose to be the U.S. R&D controller for the U.S. for the pharmaceutical company. So decent job, want to take out good life insurance because of the life that we were living. And I miss those corporate days. Just want to say that, Tony, but that's a whole nother story. But, you know, he put it to me this way. He said to me, I want you, if something happens to me, I don't want you to have to go out and find someone to take care of you and marry the first Joe Blow that comes along because he's taking care of you or keeping up the quality of life that you're used to. I want you to be able to be good by yourself. And if you decide to go and get someone else, then you just go and decide to get someone else. But it's not out of a need. It's not out of a lack. It's out of something that you want. I'll tell you the second thing. And so I appreciate him for that. I do. But that's the truth. When you talk about insurance is about loving other people. We all going out of here. We're guaranteed if we got a birth, we're gonna have an expiration date. We're all going out of here. That is a guarantee we have. We don't have no other guarantee on earth. But the second thing is, you know, I talk to all of my aunts and uncles who are more like brothers and sisters to me. And I said to each one of them, I'll be back in Georgia after this COVID thing is over, and we're going to sit down and make sure you have a plan, because I am not doing a GoFundMe page. It doesn't make any sense. It's embarrassing for the family. And it means that you decided to live your life in a way that you were selfish to only think about you, not about what needed to happen, not about what needed to be taken care of when you leave out of here. So I'm telling you now, if you got a GoFundMe page, I will not be there at the funeral, and I am not supporting it. So let's go ahead and have a conversation.
Well, you know that's so interesting because it's just really not necessary, right? It's not really something that's necessary because it's too available. It's too available, and you know, if we just take the care to make sure that it happens, and so. And I know one of the things that we're very passionate about is making sure that we have a proper protection. And, and so, that's just, to me, it's one of the things that's fundamental, but so often it just goes undone. It's the same thing as like having a will and those type of things, some basic things. And when we see people very, famous celebrities and those type of things that don't. So let me see if I can navigate this and bring my man on. There he is. Hey, Marlon, how you doing? How are you enjoying the conversation?
Oh, I've been really enjoying it. You can feel the excitement. The chat box is electrifying. And so I want to thank you, Sister James, for just, being here with us. I love the concept of SMART goals. I think it's really one of those things where it's all about taking action. Once you have the focus, the vision, I heard you say the GoFundMe, you ain't coming. I hear you, girl. I hear you, and so, but again, I think that, one of the things that, and I'm, again, the chat box, people are really enjoying this conversation. And, let me ask you this, what motivates you? What will be your legacy? Let me ask you that question.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a good question. If I could backtrack and then I'll answer your question. Let me just say this. I don't want anybody who has had to do a GoFundMe think that I'm saying you were wrong or bad for that, because it happens and it had to happen, right? We're just saying that it don't have to happen if you go ahead and take control of your life. Now that goes to what motivates me and what I want my legacy to be when I leave here. And that is for every person that I come in contact with to live their life to the fullest in whatever their purpose is, not what I identify it to be, but what they identify it to be. And so often we haven't identified what our purpose is or what we want our life to be or what we want it to look like. Each person that I impact, I already know if I can impact one person, then they can impact their circle, and their circle will impact the next circle. And so that's the only way we can change. I say this all the time when I'm speaking, that Michael Jackson had it right. I mean, he made Thriller, but that's a whole nother story. He had it right in that I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Right.
So if I start with me, that already starts the ripple effect, right? It only takes that one stone in the water to start the ripple effect. And just watching people grow and prosper, that motivates me more than anything. That's the type of leader I am. The leader I am is I am more motivated as I see people grow and prosper.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah, that's real powerful. That's real powerful because, so often we hear people the opposite, right? It's like sometimes people don't want to see other people do well. For me, I want to see people prosper, and I want to see and celebrate with them. I want to celebrate with them. And so, and that's one of the things I respect about this man in the middle right here is that he's always so positive and ready to celebrate other people. And so, that's what it's all about, to celebrate. What do they say? A rising tide raises all ships. And so you don't have to have that Marlon, the crab in the barrel mentality. We don't have to have that.
Right. When you come from abundance, when you come from, I'm co-creating with God, it's all good. Yeah. And what you put out into the world, it boomerangs back to you. You reap what you sow. And so for me, I want to see people shine. I want to see others because, again, I know that I've been blessed, and, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And so, Sister Cherelle, I want to ask you this, can you share with us, time flies, right? And you and Tony have been just really phenomenal, right? And, I couldn't even get in. I was trying to get in and y'all just wouldn't let me in. You know what I'm saying? I was like knocking at the door. Tony mentioned my name, then, 30 minutes later, I'm able to get in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Right. But no, I mean, the conversation was so wonderful. And, I wish I was here at the beginning, but I definitely will watch the recording. But, one thing I'd love to hear, because, we look at you, you're very, very, successful. You're very centered, right? And I can feel it. And I'd like you to share with us, a time when there was a challenge, when maybe you didn't know how you were going to make it through. Yeah. Right. Because to me, we look at people, we're like, oh, this person's so successful. But there's a journey. There's a journey. And so would you be so kind to share, maybe when your back was up against the wall, you didn't know how you were going to make it. It was dark. It was going through the valley, right? And you just don't know. But what was it that helped you get through it? I really feel that would be phenomenal to share.
Yeah, I spoke about it earlier in the show about my freshman year of college. So if I go back further.
Well, now if you've already shared that, that's great. But is there another one? Because I think life is all. See, here's what I want to say, and please, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to say this. Mm-hmm. You were always elevated. We have an opportunity. This is my belief, right? And I believe trials and tribulations, challenges are an opportunity. It's almost like you come to a fork in the road. Which way do you go, right? And so if you've already shared one, that's great. And if there's not another one, that's fine. But maybe 2020. I don't know if there was a time in 2020 because our audience, we want to make this the best decade, not just the best year, but I'm talking about the best decade. So as a business owner, you wear different hats. Was there anything in 2020? Maybe we'll go there. Anything in 2020 that really where, you had to go within?
So not 2020. I was going to say that at the age of 4, I was diagnosed with cancer. So as a little kid, I had the battle for my life, literally. Okay. And I say that because it built where I'm going now. Okay. And then I talked about my mother dying when I turned 18. So you got 4, then you have 18. And so one of the things that I learned at an early age is how to overcome challenges. And I want to come back to that because I'm going somewhere with what the people in my life did for me with that. Okay. So as I think the biggest challenge that I've overcome recently is probably more so in finding myself again. I talked about being a giver, and I was a giver for so many years. I told Tony about, when you're a giver, you put yourself on the back burner. But what that really did was I lost my identity. Even at 4 years old, I knew who I was. At 18 years old, when that happened, I knew who I was. But in that time, I was still giving. I've always been a giver. 4 years old, I was checking on the other kids in the hospital. 18 years old, my mother passed. I left. I started raising my brother and sister. But that's still, to me, I don't count that challenging times. That was just something that had to happen. But when I lost myself, probably around got married. So now I'm trying to be the best wife and I kind of swung way to the other side, like that proverbial woman, right? That do everything that needs to be done, not really understanding what that really meant, and really put myself more on the back burner again. That I lost myself till I woke up one day. I was about 20, and then we had 3 miscarriages in 2.5 years. 3 miscarriages in 2.5 years. Wow. And so now I've lost myself from just being a giver, and I've had all of these things happen and trying to be the best wife, right? So I wake up one morning and I'm in my closet to get dressed, and I don't recognize any of the clothes in my closet. Wow. I'm standing here for a good 5 minutes, like, whose clothes are these in my closet? I wouldn't wear nothing stretchy. All this stretch material, and then it finally hit me about 10 minutes later. Oh, they're yours because you were on a whole different course. A whole different course. Pregnancy, you want to be comfortable. You want to have on clothes that are comfortable, so everything's stretchy, everything's cotton, everything's. And so it took me about 3 years to journey back to who I was. It took me 3 years. Number one, I had to realize that I had lost myself. That goes back to that clarity that we talked about earlier. So it does not just with money. That's why I said profit mindset is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, because I had to take, again, here I am I need to take control of some things in my life, because clearly I don't know where I was, but they got amiss. And it ended up, you guys are going to really open your mouth, but it ended up in 2019. That's why I don't have any problems in 2020. But in 2019, I left my husband, I left North Carolina, and I moved to California for a year. Because I had some business opportunities. So that made sense business-wise, right? To go and to launch in California, do some things there. But I also went because I needed to find who I was again. Now, I could maintain, I could get through the day, I could do whatever needed to be done. But inside, I talked about that earlier. Inside, I didn't know who I was. Outside, I looked great. And so I took that journey, and this was a defining moment. This is probably the defining moment in my life when you talk about obstacles. And that was the first time ever in my life, because it's something that we said we'll never put on the table. I asked my husband for a divorce because I felt it was unfair to him to kind of put him on hold and move over, for a year to go find myself. My husband said no. All right. Guess what that means? We're in agreement. We're in alignment. Whatever this is, we're going to figure it out together. Let's go.
Wow.
2020 was amazing. Now, COVID wasn't amazing, but I can say in my life, I have never laughed as much and enjoyed my husband as much, being locked in the house and can't go anywhere. We created our podcast called More Than I Do because we have been through some things to be able to help couples and help couples in business and really be able to journey. We started dating. We've always dated on Friday nights. Everybody say, I got that Friday night date. But while I was way away, there's a lot of things you can't do way away. And we started figuring out creative ways to start dating each other like when we first started, and getting back to know each other and not taking each other for granted because we've been married for so long, and just all of those things. So I would have to say, coming through the years, what helped me though is knowing and having family when I was 4, when I was 18, that said that this doesn't define you. You can move past this. And so I was able to move past it. And like I said, with the agreement is strong, right? If you two agree, that's all that you need. And that's all we need. Nobody else knew I was going. Nobody understood. It didn't matter to me. We didn't care because we had agreement. And because I was over there working on myself, guess what happened? God was working on him over here while he was working on me on the West Coast. In ways that we didn't even know that we needed that work. So that would be a time that I had an obstacle, but it's called profit mindset because you take hold of your life, the resources, the finances, the decisions, the choices, because each choice takes you either further away from where you want to be, or closer to where you want to be.
Wow. I just want to do this. I want to just thank you for being so transparent, because your transparency tonight is going to set somebody either online with us right at this moment, listen to the broadcast later, and you set them free. You broke away the shackles.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for that. I think this was a God ordained moment right now. And the thing that keeps running through my mind, and then I'm gonna let Marlon close us on out, right? Because we got some people that have made some great comments, is what profited a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Yes.
That I as you're talking, and we keep seeing this word profit, a profit mindset. I'm just locked in there spiritually. What profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And so thank you for being so transparent. See, much of what you talked about got nothing to do with money, but and that's the thing that's so unique about what you're saying. It's most of the time, especially us in the business world. I have an accounting background. When you say profit, I'm thinking money, but it's more than that. It's more than that. So, man, that's awesome. Marlon, come on, man. This has been awesome. This has been awesome.
Yes, it has. And I want to thank you. Thank you so much, as Tony said, for being honest. You see, I think family, when we're transparent, we open up others. And I think that's what Tony really was saying. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And so tonight, we're inviting you, right? We're inviting you to take out a notebook, or maybe, I know we're all high tech, on your phone, take out the note section in your phone and just, answer this question. Am I living on purpose? Am I living on purpose? You know, Monday is February 1st, y'all. It's crazy, right? February 1st is here. Where does the time, is it me, or does it feel like time is moving faster now than ever before? And the question is, are you living on purpose? We just heard, you know, we talk about SMART goals, we talk about resources, you know, all this stuff, but when it really comes down to it, are you living on purpose? Do you have a vision? What is your life really all about? When you're 95 years young, you look back on your life, what's really going to matter? For me, it's going to be the treasured memories and the loving relationships. I've had money come and go. What is it going to be for you? See, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. C plus B equals A. What you conceive in your mind, you believe in your heart, you will achieve. But sometimes we're so busy, we don't slow down. We don't slow down, and we're just moving so fast, we don't slow down. The busyness of life is like disconnecting us. And even technology, let's be honest. Some of us are so glued to this thing. So my question to you is, are you living with purpose? And that's the gift. And maybe next week, you know, if you like, you know, type in the chat box. What was your answer? You know, are you living with purpose? Because what you heard tonight, a young lady who had the wherewithal, you know, life was, you know, moving, and on the outside, she said it. Everything was looking great. I'm, you know, feeling, you know, everybody's, oh, look at you, you're successful. But on the inside, and you see, you can't fool yourself. You can't fool yourself. And so that's why, again, tonight, before you go to bed, this is how we really activate this show. Am I living with purpose? And I want to encourage you, write it down. Just write it down. And let's see what comes up. And if there's anything that we can do, you can send an email to info@therealmoneycoach.com, because we're linking arms. We're linking arms. And we're saying, yo, let's do this together. And so with that being shared, remember this: a vision without action is just a dream. A lot of action without a vision is merely a passing of time. But a vision, come on, someone, with action can change the world. I am Marlon Smith, in partnership with Tony Jackson and Chris Jackson. We are the Real Money Coach. Live with purpose, because there's greatness within you. Stay blessed.